And thank you for the stoic visitors and for being here in the Saturday morning. So we at Zero Labs, we do a bunch of things. We work with Filecoin to decarbonize the Filecoin network, and we're going to show you how to do it. We have a vision of embedding renewable energy everywhere, and we're going to show you how it comes. We started this project while at Energy Web, which is an EVM proof of authority dedicated to the energy industry, but we spinned it out in January as an independent startup, and we started working with Filecoin already while at Energy Web. The problem, if you're here, you already know, so I'll gloss over it. Like, the energy production and consumption is the biggest problem in climate change. Like 73% of the greenhouse gases are emitted by the energy production or consumption, and 80% of that is still fossil fuel. So what we need to do is bring these numbers back to zero, down to zero, and make them completely renewable. This is why we're called Zero. We bring it to zero. And we do this through three ways. First, we build these green NFTs. We tokenize renewable energy certificates. We're going to talk about that. On top of that, we built a simplifying API, a Web2 style API that simplifies any energy-related interaction, and especially also any Web3 interaction to buy, consume, redeem, we will learn what they mean, certificates. And on top of that, we built green proofs or human readable proofs, because we don't think that it can be called transparency if it's if a user is forced to look onto a blockchain explorer. That for us is not transparency. So we're going to see all of this. So these are the three parts that we do. We tokenize renewable energy certificates. We make them into this Web3 building block that is permissionless and people can program. And on top, we have also this API that enables developers of all the world to use it. And for the end goal of making it easy to buy and renewable energy and transparently prove it. So these are the various parts. You probably all know what renewable energies are. You are an educated audience. But for the benefit of the future audience and our remote audience, I will just do a very quick primer, because also there's a lot of misconception. It's a not very familiar tool. For us, it's the secret ingredient to changing energy-related behaviors. And a REC, a renewable energy certificate, is this. It's a PDF issued by registries all over the world. There's different standards, okay, that states four things: that a person, individual, organization, in a specific place and in a specific time frame has consumed a certain amount of renewable energy in a specific place. And so these registries are similar to the carbon market, but unlike the carbon market, they are government mandated, and there's a bunch of them almost all over the place. Like Europe has like 25 or something like that. And the big standards are for the US, the REC, the GO for Europe, and the IREC, the International Renewable Energy Certificate, that covers most of the other places. A REC represents 1 megawatt hour of energy. That is already a big amount of energy. It's the average American household consumption for 1 month. Okay, we will see in a demo. We in Spain consumed 6 months less than 1 megawatt hour. So we will see how that relates to energy behaviors in the US and in Europe. But this is one of the limitations of the tool, because it's a big amount of energy. And we wanted to make it accessible to everybody, and we're going to see how to do it. And why do we need RECs? Because once an electron has been input into a grid, there's no way of knowing where it went to unless you hold the certificate. There is really no other way. We live in the soup of electrons, and unless you have a certified body who tells you that electron that came from that source has been put into a grid and you can claim it as yours, there's no other way of knowing where that electron went. And so this is why you need the certificates. There is a difference between carbon offsets. There are some advantages. We can discuss it about this. Carbon offsets have these many methodologies according to the different types of carbon offsets to measure their impact or how much they're worth, etc. While RECs are deterministic, kind of there is a meter outside of the solar panel telling the utility bill, I've input 1 megawatt hour, and the utility bill has another meter counting how many they've received. So there's a little bit of a double check already there. And a registry who checks all the regions, devices and generators can, of course, look for outliers. If there are outliers, they are already faking the data. So it's a really simpler way to certify a certain amount of information of energy deterministically. It has a faster cycle. So carbon offsets, you need to wait 5 years before you can actually know how much carbon has been captured by the soil and stuff like that. In renewable energy certificates, they are issued monthly, which for us, it's still a very long time, and we are going to try to reduce it. And actually, the community is working towards even 24/7 or having a live tool, For us, of course, the offsets don't solve the future. You are emitting, but you are just canceling your emissions. You're not improving to not emit anymore. So instead, renewable energy certificates incentivize the creation of more renewable energy so that more people can emit less in general. And in this case, you are also the green activist. You hold the PDF. You can be the proof, while in the other case, the effort is delegated to conservation projects in specific regions, and we've heard some of them instead of being you. So this tool has been designed for large institutional players, and it is gated, it's slow, it's disconnected, they live all in siloed databases. You kind of already see why a blockchain is naturally useful for this kind of stuff. And registries, what they do is avoid double counting, so that also makes sense that it's on a blockchain. And what we want to do is totally the opposite. We want to make it easy, fast, digital, programmable, permissionless, okay? All the cool words that the kids in this place know about, right? On top of that, we build these proofs, as I told you about. We will see these proofs. And we believe strongly on this permissionless layer. We unlock the innovation if anybody can develop or embed renewable energy into their applications. So this was the primer on renewable energies. We tokenize them. This community knows very well what that means. They are non-visual NFTs, but the advantage of NFTs in this case is that they can be fractionalized, for example. So 1 megawatt hour, which we saw is that big amount of energy, can be reduced to the watt level. And for example, we could be decarbonizing this video call, the stream call, automatically also. In the case of renewable energy certificates, like in carbon offset, we have this extra parameter, which is it can be claimed or locked. It means that a beneficiary that appears in the metadata of the NFT will be the end owner of that thing, even if maybe the NFT itself can be transferred, but the beneficiary is the ultimate person who can claim they use those green electrons. And of course, it's programmable and it has all the other composability advantages. Then we step into the second part of what we do. So first layer, we tokenize. We have this open source tokenization protocol that also is useful to tokenize or to tokenize different things. We can talk about that. The second step on top, we have these API and these green proofs that make it easy to buy. We will talk about easy, the user experience of Web3. How do we bridge Web3 back into Web2? And transparently prove it. So this is, you decarbonize and prove it. These are the two steps that we're going to see today. And we, of course, I need to go back. Of course, we worked to decarbonize Filecoin storage providers, but today we wanted to give you a demo of how it works from A to Z. I'm not a storage provider. I don't have petabytes of storage. So I needed to look for something more personal and to give you a demo from A to Z. And very few people know that I also have an art foundation in Andalusia where you're all welcome to come. It's 3 places in the middle of nowhere, countryside, very inspiring. It's dedicated to the work of my father, who invented these disassemblable sculptures. They are like puzzles, okay? I call them art for hackers because really you need to use your hands to solve them. And this is a wireframe. It looks done in 3D, but it's actually done in 1972. There's no computers at the time. He invented the concept of the multiple, democratizing art, and he was using bonding curves in 1969. So when the crypto people come, they kind of blow their minds. You're all invited to come. And yes, this is a Warhol, Andy Warhol taking his portrait. So there's a lot of things. And we have this big building, a warehouse where we receive visits. It's the last studio workshop. And so we needed to decarbonize this. I want to decarbonize. As an art foundation, I want to decarbonize my institution, right? So first thing, we need to have the token in our registry. So what we do, the first step, it kind of happens before. We call some providers. They send us a cancellation statement that has this bridging information. Maybe can I zoom it in a little bit for you, where you can see we are working on Energy Web. It has the network ID, it has the specific smart contract, okay, the version of the protocol. So if we improve it, and you can see that we cancel 270,000 megawatt hours. That's a lot of energy, okay, from a generator in France. We are in Spain, but from France. Why is that? Because Europe is a unified, harmonized market. So I could, and we also have a common monetary system to pay each other. So I can decarbonize with an electron emitted in any of the 25 countries. In the US, it's not the same. There's kind of 5 grids. If you are in Texas, you're kind of stuck in Texas and you need to decarbonize with a source in Texas. We're going to see that. And so this is the contract. You can go on the Explorer. That's where you can see the contract. And you can see there is a minting event for 270 million, that's watts, okay, not more megawatt hours, so we can go down to the watt level, okay. And so these are the proof that a certain amount of energy has been tokenized, and it has that bridging information that we will also see again. And you saw this. Then, as a user, of course, I need, as a private user, I need to go look at my bills, find the energy amount, etc. We will see how measuring and buying, if you have to do it yourself, it's kind of tedious and it creates a lot of friction. It's similar to when you open a wallet, a Web3 wallet, you need to save your account, etc. So how do we solve it? We create this API that will solve all this. In this case of the demo, I needed to do a lot of handwork still, but the idea is that we make everything automatic and you can see it. So I measured 6 months of 2002, how much energy. This is just one bill, for example. And I'm going to show you right now. I need to use both hands, maybe. Okay, I'll just do this. And here. So we have a small widget. This is for B2C, but imagine again that we want this to be completely invisible and automatic for the different kinds of users. I can choose an amount, so 743 units. You see, I can say I consume kilowatt hours, not more megawatt hours. This is unthinkable for the renewable energy certificate. I have already written that I want to decarbonize my place. I select from January 1st to June 30, for example. I can select different kind of things, the type of energy, the wind. I can say hey, I want from Poland, for example, because I care about decarbonizing one of the dirtiest grids, okay? I don't need to choose from Spain if I want. We can focus the firepower of the Web3 community onto specific places, and we were talking yesterday with this, with Kristin from Zumo also. When you submit, on the background, again, this would be done automatically. On the background, our API is matching the inventory, so looking at that certificate and taking the fractions. And you can see here, it built this proof that says that the foundation Berrocal, has consumed 743 megawatt hours. Okay, you have this beautiful impact proof and also a verify page. We can see that with all my information, so that it can be don't trust, verify with whoever we are, etc. So that this is a page that us as a foundation, we can share publicly to show the world how simple it is and how you can do these kind of transitions. Here it says 0.7 megawatt hours, because that's what kilowatt hours are. And you have all the information about the consumption entity, what it has been decarbonized. Here, for example, we are going to see in a Filecoin mining storage providing situation, you will see the information of the Filecoin storage provider. You can decarbonize maybe your crypto holdings, your NFTs. There's many different things that you can decarbonize. And you get this proof that converts a dry energy amount into something that is more relatable, either the CO2 emissions, and also this story about the impact that you today have a certain amount of impact, but if you keep going in the future, you would have impacted the world with this amount of forest, for example. So we are transforming dry numbers into something more relatable. Here we put our own beneficiary goals, like as a foundation, why we want to prove that it can be decarbonized. In these proofs, we build also incentives to keep going. If you keep the streak, we gamify. We will give you a special achievement, an NFT or whatever. And there's all the generator details. In this case, sometimes we don't have them. If we can, we tell the impact story, like why this generator is doing good, and how to become a green hero, joining us, sharing the story, blah, 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 etc. But most importantly, you have this verify page always here, because it's not just about the story, the marketing, it's about actually the real data. We want everybody to see. And yes, in a normal blockchain context, you would jump to this and have the blockchain transactions. For us, that's not enough. So what we built is a connected proof here that has all the information, the same data that you saw there, but in a more friendly for validators, for verifiers, okay? All the certificate, you can download the attestation, okay? It will open the attestation, it will download our attestation also, so it has both the one that you saw before and ours. We built a sand key. In this case, you see, there's this big 270 megawatt hours, 73 megawatt hours of energy. There's one tiny, tiny, tiny fraction. This is a UX problem. We are going to solve it. But you're going to see in a Filecoin case, in this case, the sand key can be very much more complex, okay? So you have contracts, which are futures, are promises from the provider to sell you that amount of energy in a specific place. You have the redemption of that certificate, and you can jump to all of these and see the PDFs and all the information and explore in a human readable way, or a more than just 1,000 transactions on a blockchain, And so this is the proofs, okay? Of course, always the blockchain transparency. And we're building this so that people can really have a tool and to show it to people. So if you guys want, you can surf this page yourself by going to this URL or the QR code. Yeah, I'll wait a second while you screenshot it. And it's a tool to demonstrate that you are really doing good. So our motto is less is more, but zero is better. And this is some information about our project, something that we've done with Filecoin. Also, we've decarbonized 240,000 megawatt hours for some of the storage providers. And Filecoin is really a pioneer in wanting to decarbonize the whole network since Genesis. We have another one with Gitcoin here. And I want to leave you with the last thoughts, which is what you saw was also a little bit of a manual process, but imagine if all that is made automatic. It's embedded in any digital behavior that we have. It becomes the frictionless adoption of renewable energy. And this is what we need to strive in the Web3 space, and also in general for accelerating the adoption of renewable energy that needs to happen now and fast. And one side of how we tackle that is making it this programmability that has advantages. In the case of Filecoin, for example, it can be made automatic so that an API can prove their storage providers green. It can give them a reputation system. Maybe we will hear today something from the development of the hackathon. I don't know what the result will be. But the reputation system will automatically get one of the parameters, of course, from this decarbonize, how much green these people are, these storage providers are. And of course, we are storing all these PDFs on Filecoin, it's important to say. And we are applying this to many different contexts. It just not just Filecoin. We are working with Zumo, of course, to decarbonize Bitcoin and other kind of crypto holdings. And beyond crypto also, we are receiving a lot of demand from Web2 companies that have nothing to do. We are bridging Web3 back into Web2 through this normal Web2 API that users are familiar with. And we think that on the Web3 side, by making it a permissionless building block, we can accelerate innovation, so you guys can use this tool to create things that maybe we don't even imagine. And on the Web2 side, we are making it simple so that there is a wide adoption and wide distribution. So this is our invitation to you guys to start building on top of us and checking renewable energy certificates, not just carbon. There's 100 projects talking about tokenized carbon, very few talking about energy. Think about energy as well, and join us in this programmable decarbonization revolution. This is what we're thinking. If it becomes programmable and automatic, you solve a lot of the UX problems of adopting renewable energy. We can embed renewable energy in anything. Even if you don't have solar panels yourselves, you can, through these certificates, prove that your energy is green. And yeah, so this is us. Join our Discord, come talk to us, and I'm looking forward to hearing your questions, doubts, comments.